We're recording. Good morning,
Hello,
bud.
everybody. Good morning, Tim. How are you?
I'm very well, my friend. I'm you're warm and I'm cold. Polarity.
You've got to admire the commitment.
Well, this is it. This is like this is 2024's version of the Ascension updates. This is coming through Tim Wild Practical Ascension channel, but there's no real kind of huge running theme this year. It's just going to be in flow. And today I'm just very honoured to have my good friend and my brother in the light, David Essery here, who runs New Moon Art. Most of them, not all of you, will know David. And we're just going to chat about what's going on at the moment and what David and I have got coming up, because it's quite exciting.
Yeah, we're really excited, aren't we? I mean,
We are.
first of all, what a solstice. I think that probably sets us up for the year, really, doesn't it?
It does.
Like,
It,
who's feeling the shift? That's I'm interested to know that. Is it life? Yeah, I certainly am. But is it life as normal for you, or what are you feeling in this new energy? So, if you didn't join Tim and I for the solstice or heard us talk about it recently, what planet Earth has just been through. We've basically stepped into an entire new dimension, and we've completely stepped into, I don't want to say 5D happy rainbow unicorn land, because it is not that yet, but we have stepped into an energy that is very, very much in alignment with us, the path of where the Earth is going and the work that we're doing. And it's a fascinating time, isn't it? And it was such a push up to you and me. So Tim and I, it's quite interesting. We often end up talking about the same things in our videos without ever actually talking about it. We've even done it on the same day before. We posted videos about the exact same
many
thing.
times.
And I love that. Yeah, I love that as confirmation of what we're doing. But leading up to the solstice, both of us, for a good couple of months before, we're talking about purification and
Yeah.
clearing and basically letting go of as much density as possible before we rolled into that solstice. And it wasn't really until we got quite close to that I started understanding why that was. But it was because of this huge shift that we've just been through in this new world. And basically, we just didn't want to take anything any lower vibrations, anything that was going to hold us back from moving into this new world. And I think in general, the energy was very supportive of us doing an incredible job of that. It's something Tim and I both worked on a lot. We did videos on the things, didn't we, leading up to this?
Absolutely. It's
But
sorry, David. I was just musing, like coming
you
in.
muse away, my friend.
I mean, every single solstice gateway. I mean, you and I have now got a tradition of working together on solstices and lines. I mean, they're always amazing, and each one that we work with becomes increasingly powerful. There is always a theme of walking through now and stepping into a higher frequency, but there's something that is very, very different about this year. Last year, as you will have probably heard David and I discussing either together or individually, was nothing short of one long initiation. From the second we stepped into the January energies, you have your spiritual dates, you have the solstices, you have the equinoxes, you have all of the moons, be they full, be they new, the Lion's Gate, and you know where we sort of know where we are with them. We know that we're going to have vast downloads of light shifts and energy, but so we focus on those dates. And we expect a sense of expectation is built into the biosphere of our reality, be that a good expectation or whether it's a little bit of trepidation and wariness. But there was no downtime in between last year, and that's what made last year absolutely unique. All the way right up until the December solstice gateway, there was a continual flow that just got higher and higher and higher. During August, we saw the activation of the higher heart of the whole of humanity and a new version of the violet flame being revealed. And that was just one of the many things that occurred. But what David and I both experienced, both separately, and also, together when we're working together, is this element of purification. And while I was being purified in my own delightful way, and David was as well, there's this incredible shift that's going on in the astral. Now, the astral is something that we're all aware of. We all know it exists. I've spoken about this in my previous updates, but for those of you that might have missed it, this is important. Okay, so the astral, or the kind of the deeper, darker, denser, kind of grubbier aspects of the astral, have been the fuel for what has kept the third dimensional matrix so powerful, so effective, so able to cast illusions that are almost indecipherable from reality for the majority of people that were living within it. And the December and the solstice saw the deactivation of the majority of the energy that feeds the kind of what we would regard as negative magic on this planet. So it's almost like switching off a big machine that has enabled illusion to stay in a state of power around the world. And this includes all the visible leaders, the ones that stand up and make life difficult and speak all of these words. You shall do this, but in actual fact it benefits the corporations and the bankers and the sponsors and all of the people that are kind of puppeteering behind the scenes. That no longer has any fuel. Okay. And in the process of doing so, huge teams of light were moving through the astral in a more than dramatic way, shutting down the aspects that were fueling it. So we step into January, 13th of January here today, and we've got a different template, but there is a very powerful theme for this year. David and I were just talking a little bit about it before we started recording, and everything for us this year will pertain to the improvement of self, responsibility, and sovereignty. So we can look at the outside world continuously and say, that's wrong. That's not what I want to be experiencing. Those people are wrong. That's bad. And continuously focus upon the points of where our attention is going, the things that are incorrect, when in actual fact we're being brought back to ourselves now. Okay, so we've acknowledged to be part of this ascension process, a unified rising frequency in the collective, but each one of us have got to be responsible for how we are creating our own reality. Big stuff.
Just as you were saying that, I just heard in my ear then the training wheels are off. Yeah. And I think that actually makes perfect sense for how I've been feeling this year and the energy that's gone, because we know that we've been training for this all this time. In fact, we so aptly named our solstice workshop Forging the New Masters, and I don't think we actually really talked about that. But the reality that's because of what the energy was doing. That's where we're stepping into for this year. That we have to, as Tim says, take that sovereignty. We have to step into our master selves. And for me, I sat down the other day with my notepad and pen, and I connected with my guys, because I was like, okay, what do I want to do this year, or what am I going to do this year? And I was like, right, what should I do? Give me a plan for the year. What can I do? How can I help this planet ascend? How can I help people? What can I do this year? And they came back and said, you can do whatever you want to do. And I sat there like,
that's bloody helpful, isn't it?
Yeah. I wanted like a 12-month plan. It's like, we're going to do all of this, we're going to do all that stuff. But they're like, no, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And that completely threw me a little bit, actually.
Yeah. Give me instructions.
But that's it. The training wheels are off, It's up to us now to decide who we want to be. What do we want to do? Because, at the end of the day, we all have free will. We think, a lot about the pages of our life book, as I like to call it, the things that we agree to do when we come down, and we think in our minds that we've got these big moments of what we're going to step in and we're going to do in our lifetime. And yes, that is absolutely true. We plan for these things. But at the end of the day, we have free will. Yes, there's those bits, but there's also lots and lots of empty space in between them that we can fill with the things of our own choice. quite frankly, when we're down here, we can decide not to do those things. If we go, you know what, no, that's not for me, I'm going to go off and in a different direction. We can do that because we have free will. Not necessarily saying that's a good idea, but we do actually have the power to do that. And that's where we are right now. You know, I think this is an opportunity to explore our free will and what gives us soul satisfaction rather than looking for that around us. You know, what is our path? What are we here for? How can we step into that? How can we do that? And that's a really exciting place to be in. But, you know, at the moment, for me, you know, Tim and I were having a quick chat before we kicked on. I'm feeling a bit wobbly at the moment this January, you know, in terms of what I'm doing. I'm facing certain initiations, which I believe are things that I didn't manage to clear before December, and therefore they're now being brought up in this energy for me to work through now. And it does feel a little bit shaky, like the training wheels have just come off. But, you know, how long does that last? You put a kid on a bike, they learn on the training wheels, you take them off, and half an hour later, they're whizzing around the park.
Yeah, fighting the life out of you.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to see as we move through the next few months this you know, shift as we really step into our sovereignty. And actually, you know, Tim and I are going to talk about this in a little bit because it's our plan for the next few months. But actually, last year I was being very much driven to the first half of this year being this build up as we step into ourselves that had to be done before the sun solstice. I couldn't possibly tell you what's going to happen at the solstice. You know, that will come in later, but Tim and I will no doubt be there, you know, on the night for that. But there is this push to really step into ourselves before that time. And that's what the energy is very supportive of right now. And, you know, that is an important point. It is supportive. You know, for the first 10 years of this process, things were brutal, you know, and Tim and I would get to the solstices and the Lion's Gate and we would say, well done for getting here, you know, and we did that this year. But to me, last year didn't feel anywhere near as brutal. It was hard, don't get me wrong.
It was consistently hard.
Yeah, it was. But I would say before that, it almost felt cruel, I think is the word I want to use.
A bit cruel and unnecessary, some of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Last year was really, really hard, but I always felt my team around me. I always felt like I was being guided and I was being supported and I was moving towards something. And that for me was an important shift. And I think, you know, that's what we're going to see over the next couple of months. And I don't know, I'm excited about the solstice already. I know it was only like 3 weeks ago for the last one.
Do you know what excites me about it? It's the fact it's going to be warm.
Yeah.
I was sat here trying to manifesting some warm hands. I mean, even with all the, I mean, it's beautiful out here. I mean, we're already experiencing in the UK. We're already experiencing like half an hour more light in the evenings. The birds are tweeting when the sun comes up in the morning that little bit earlier. You know, the light is returning. That's the cycle, isn't it? But there is a different cycle that is now being expected of the human light, the light workers of this planet. And we covered this extensively. I mean, I've done 2 online events this week, one with Alice Heath and one with Paul Debris Carey, and both of them were about bringing in, you know, like the first one with Alice about the Royal Codex, our cosmic abundance. And with Paul, it was the wisdom of the Sphinx. And the Sphinx was just imparting simple directives to live a good life. You know, forget all of the tis was, all of the complications. Basically, if you bring it back to the simplicity of acknowledging the amazingness that is you. And this is what I've loved. You've said this so many times in workshops. First time you did it, I was so moved, David. It's just how, you know, saying to everybody here, including us, how amazing we all are. But, you know, do we truly acknowledge our incredibleness being here on this planet during this shift? You know, we've incarnated many times on Earth, but Earth is only doing what she is doing once. It hasn't happened before. It won't happen again. This is the transition from 3D to 5D. Sirius did it. They were the kind of the closest comparable process to ours, but they took 300 years to go through what we're doing in 20. So it's almost like, right, okay, get all the nutters and send them to Earth, the ones that can really pull this off. And we're all here now doing it. So, you are amazing. We are amazing. The collective field is amazing. But the majority of us haven't even got the faintest idea about how amazing we are. We're still having to reprogram our circuitry to even vaguely love ourselves, because we've been taught not to do that for the last 10,000 years. Now, that is where most of us are finding things difficult at the moment. You say you're being initiated again at the moment, David. Me too. The majority of the people are out there. The first part of this year is to unwire the false aspects that we've been programmed with, in order for us to take responsibility to be highly abundant, productive, successful, happy souls living here on Earth. Yeah, we've got all the work to do, and out there's a sea of stuff that needs rectifying, which will be rectified by the illumination from the inside. It's not going to be destroyed. It's not going to be iced over, flattened, burnt, whatever. It's going to be shifted from 3D to 5D by the activation of heart-centeredness within the kind of the structures, therefore transforming them. But that transformation lies within us. It's us and our responsibility to take this on, to do it wholeheartedly. No distractions. That's exactly where we are now.
Yeah, absolutely. Merlin said to us on the solstice that when we made that big shift, that we were now moving to an Earth whose role, it wasn't a training ground anymore for learning about what it was to be in 3D and to be in physical. It was about learning about expansion. It was a training ground for ascension, to learn about unity, togetherness. That is the world that we're moving into, and that is the world that we're creating. And, the reality is, Tim was saying about that, remembering how amazing we are. The simple truth in all of this, that Tim, I, you, every single one of us watching, are a physical manifestation of God. That's a fact. The reason why we're alive is because of the threefold flame of God that burns in our heart. When that goes away, the body crumples to the ground. Consciousness, who we are, is God. We are perfect, and anything that seems not perfect is just an opportunity to learn. That is all it is. It's as simple as that, because we are inherently perfection, and we are working in a state to get back to that at all times. And the reality is that so many of us that are on planet Earth right now have been here, and we've done this before. How many people watching this video has got memories of a past life where they were basically someone that we now regard as a ascended master, or perhaps a mythological figure, which in reality they were, ascended masters. When you look back at, the Roman pantheon, the Egyptian pantheon of gods and stuff, they were just ascended masters, but the powers that they had, because of that, they were perceived as gods by the people around them. Where we are now, the way that the planet is going to, the energy that we've just moved into, ascension, and we talk about ascension a lot, and actually I think there's kind of two definitions for that. There's the day-to-day thing that we're doing, and we're just like climbing a ladder. With each step, we pass initiation, we clear a bit of old energy from a past life or whatever, and we're taking a run up that ladder. What we don't talk about very often is what's at the top of that ladder. And that is literally us becoming an ascended master. And that is the ultimate goal of life. We come to Earth, we learn through our experiences, we learn about emotions, about attachment, about being in a body. We pass on, we come back, we learn a few more lessons, maybe get some trauma on the way, go back, spend 5 lifetimes trying to overcome that trauma, and on we go. But eventually, the ultimate goal of all of that is that we learn and we ascend. Now, that happened over countless lifetimes before. But so many of us, most of us, watching this now, that have come to planet Earth, have come here to do this job, to ascend planet Earth. That's what Tim's saying. What the Syrians took 300 years to do, we're doing in 20 years. That requires incredibly experienced, powerful souls to do.
Does it ever?
That's not first lifers coming down to do this. This is highly experienced souls. And this is where things get a bit complicated with the soul and the monad and personalities, and it is perfectly possible for someone to have been ascended master, hoobadoo. I'm not going to name any particular names because I don't want to connect to that, in a past life, and now be Joe Bloggs. And that is perfectly possible because of the way personalities happen with the soul. And it's possible for you to ascend now and then that other part to be ascended. And that is exactly what we see in Merlin, for instance, as well known as Saint Germain. I've heard of him as Joseph, and countless other lifetimes that we can pick up a book in the library and learn about this person. And they've achieved ascension in each one of those lifetimes. That's what we're doing right now. We're back here to do it. And with the energy that we are in, taking this giant leap, what planet Earth is doing, it is totally possible in this lifetime for us to achieve ascension. I honestly think it's on the table.
That's what we're here to do. No doubt about it. I mean,
exactly. The reality is, for the bulk of planet Earth, we are looking at moving into a 5D vibration and holding that in our hearts. But for those people that are truly committed to this path, which, if you've got an interest in your spirituality and you're doing this and you're meditating and you're releasing and you're actively saying, yes, I want to be better, then the chances are you're going to ascend in this lifetime. Because that's what we're here to do. Now, what does that mean from there, right? So what is ascension? And, Tim and I could probably talk about that for a good another couple of hours. And the reality is, on the universal scale, when you really, really look into it, someone's down here, they reach ascension there. The ultimate goal is up here somewhere, because ascended master is just one step.
It's the beginning of the journey.
It's the beginning of the journey.
It's
which,
we've done the school of density. Basically, we've passed through the school of density. And this is the beginning of the fun stuff, the big stuff. So,
which is all about ultimately return to God. When you get to that final stage, you return back to, kind of reform with the ultimate Godhead. But that once we're in the position that we've got, over the last 10,000 years, there's probably, I don't know, I haven't got an idea. In my head, I've got like 2,000 people maybe ascended over the last 10,000 years. I don't know. That's just a random number that's come to my head.
Yeah.
But it's fairly small, and that's because it was done at a very dense 3D energy, and it would have been really, really hard to do. Quite frankly, the people that did it went off and meditated in caves and stuff like that in order to do it. They weren't looking after kids and doing a day job and things like that. Tim and I have joked before about an Airbnb cave rental service for ascension purposes.
For people that have had enough of it. I mean, you're absolutely right there, David. I mean, like ascension prior, the term ascension in the third dimension meant to physically leave your body to inhabit a higher and a different frequency. So that's what's so unique about our process, is the fact that we are now bringing spirit into matter, into physical, and holding that frequency, that fifth dimensional vibration, but still experiencing the tangibility of a physical existence. Again, something that's not necessarily particularly well known or done on a frequent basis throughout the kind of our tangible cosmos, so to speak.
Absolutely, but is a reality for us right now, and this is what we're going. If you're sitting here at the beginning of this year going, what are my goals? What am I moving towards? that's it really at the end of the day. And that doesn't mean you're going to hit it this year. It might be another 10 years, another 20 years. It's hard to say. And different people are going to do it at different rates, obviously depending on their state. But then we're going to get into a situation, because people do ascend, that they can leave planet Earth if they want to, or they can stay here in a body on planet Earth. And that's how, at that point, planet Earth is just going to skyrocket. Can you imagine a world where instead of politicians getting up on the news in front of talking to everyone, we've got a ascended master on a plinth, speaking truth to the masses? That's a different world that we're creating.
That's the reality of what it was shown so clearly to me this past week, David, how it's going to be done. I've seen snippets of this before, but it's going to be done from the inside. I mean, I've always heard over and over again, Ascension is an inside job. Okay, so in positions, or and I've been amazed in the past to have people turning up to live events that are in politics or position, they've been like, shush, don't tell everybody what I do, kind of thing. But I'm here, I'm awake, I've woken up in the middle of this incredibly dense corporation, this operation, this institution, and I'm fully awake, and everybody around me is fast asleep. I say, well, you are a very special person then, because you are here to change that from the inside out. Your light, your frequency, the way you think, your entire structure will reverberate throughout whatever you are doing and ignite other people. This is going on in real time everywhere, all around the world at this moment in time. Yes, you can sit there and believe the news about all the terrible, frightening, tragic things that are going to go on, be it World War III, be it, shoreline invasions, crashings of economies and everything like that. That's there to drop our frequency, to put us in survival mode, to keep us in fear. What's going to be the next big lurgy that comes thundering down the kind of the pipeline? It doesn't matter. That might happen. And if it does, we'll ignite it, we'll alchemize it, we'll move on, and it'll wake millions more people up. Good, crack on, you know what I mean? Fill your boots. And that's the way that we do it. But inside of these institutions that are designed to oppress and control is a vast magic of light occurring, where ignition of soul action is taking place within individuals that were previously asleep. Now they are on duty, they have a job to do. And that's how you change these to work at a fifth dimensional frequency. The old will be replaced by the new, and these structures will rise in the light. That's how it works. So exciting times.
At the moment, it's just fear that holds someone back from stepping forward and making a change. But when that one person that's awake realizes that someone else within the company is awake, you've got a bond forming. Maybe another one sees that and joins in, and eventually you've got a snowball effect. You've got enough people that they start enacting change. We've got the tools. Social media is a blessing and a curse. But, more and more I'm seeing when a company or anyone is standing up and saying, oh, I'm doing this, people are like, yeah, this is great. People want to see more of that. People want to see positivity happening, because they're bored of everything else that's happening. And then people get behind that company or that politician or whatever it is, and support grows and grows. And that is what we're going to see. The wake up, I think, has already happened to a sufficient point. We saw that last year through the summer solstice and through the Lions Gate. The wake up has happened. Where we're at now is we need the unity. We just need people to start coming together and talking about it. And we're going to start to see real change happening. It's an incredible time to be alive.
It is. It really is. It's a wonderful time to be alive, and it's a wonderful time to be on Earth. And on that note, my friend, we've got something exciting coming up, haven't we?
We have, yes. So starting February 1st, Tim and I are starting a 3-part workshop series together called the Soul Reclamation Pathway, which ironically is one of those classic moments. I messaged Tim and I said, I've got this information that's come through for a workshop series called the Soul Reclamation Pathway. Do you want to do it? And he was like, no way. I mentioned those exact words in my video this morning. And I was like, what? It's just the simplicity of these things are amazing, because that's not a common phrase to
It's
utter.
not. It's not one that you kind of roll around, like on a daily basis. Oh, I'm just going out to do a bit of soul reclamation. It's quite it's quite specific, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. But what that means is we're talking about reclaiming our soul, essentially stepping back into our full power, because that's what the energy is supportive of. And Tim and I, over the last few years, we've done countless workshops. At the solstice, there's always these massive upgrades where we, anchor in another part of our soul, or we recall something, and we've done a lot of this work before. But this is distinctly different because of the energy that we've just moved into, which, just another side note, how many people have had a third eye upgrade so far this year? Like, do you know? Yeah, exactly. Mass stuff is happening for everyone at the moment. And that is this energy, because we're getting ready to step into these roles. And that's exactly what this workshop series is about preparation to step into. So that's that role. So we've got 3 parts of this workshop. We're starting on February 1st. There's one on March 14th, I think. And then we end it on the 5th of the 5th. Again, completely by accident. I love these things.
Yeah, starting on Involk.
That's it.
Beautiful day.
And essentially, we are going to be working to discovering who we are at a soul level, where we come from, why are we here, what are our gifts and our talents, what is our purpose, connecting back to our soul families, to our monads, calling back in that support, because Ascension is a family business.
I like that.
Yeah, I know, that just came through my ear as I was saying that. Ascension is a family business. And that's true, because you have your monadic family, a group of souls, 144 souls in the monad. You are one of them. And they are all, when one soul, or even personality, I'm a personality, Tim's a personality, you're a personality. When one personality works towards ascension, it's like that. I'm going to use a gaming term here, but you gain experience points and things, right? Everything that we do in Ascension, we gain experience points. XP, yeah. That gets shared across everyone within your monads. And actually, you have designated souls within a monad sometimes that it's they're kind of doing a really good job of it, and sometimes the rest of the monad goes, right, we're going to support that one soul, we're going to do everything we can to help that person achieve their ascension, because we all benefit from it. So the Ascension is a family business, so we're going to be calling in that support. If you're your designated soul, which quite frankly is likely, if you're here, if you're on this path, if you're drawn to do this work, it's highly likely that you are that designated soul. Calling in that support from our soul families, finding out our purpose, really connecting with our soul at a level that we have never, ever had access to because of this vibration, and then anchoring it down into the physical, really making it a part of who we are, so that we can stand in that power, so that we can throw the training wheels in the bin, so that we can stand in our mighty I am. I am here to be me and do my job, and just prepare us as we move forward to create the world that we're creating, because every single one of us has a role within the ascension of planet Earth. No one is on planet Earth by mistake at the moment.
That's
we
so
all knew. Yeah, it is. We all knew before we incarnated down here what Earth was going through. And everyone that came here for a reason. It doesn't matter what that is. It's just as important whether you are speaking to 5 million people online, or whether you are talking to your friends and your family and you're explaining what an angel is. It doesn't matter. It is as equally important, whatever your role is. That's what Tim and I basically are working to facilitate in this series. And we are truly honoured that Melchizedek has stepped forward to lead this series for us. Yeah.
It's not. He's been coming
a,
through more and more, hasn't he? And
he has.
to have a soul of that frequency, to be actually stepping in and going, right, I'm here. I'm on board. I'm in the game. I'm in the field. Let's go to work. That's testament to just how far we have risen up the vibrational ladder, as to be able to connect and tangibly receive and actually facilitate the work and the information that he's bringing through. So it's gonna be good. This is going to be a seriously high frequency series.
It is, because he's, the spiritual realms are essentially a hierarchy. There's multiple tiers that, that go up, that there's bosses, managers, project managers within it. And Melchizedek is right up there, he's, although he does get involved with individual people and stuff like that, he's usually the one that's overseeing and making big plans and stuff like that. But him stepping through on an individual level like that to work like this, it is big. And for what the work that we're doing, this is going to be something special. It really is.
Absolutely.
So we've got three workshops. Within that, there's also going to be some bonus meditations to take away afterwards. A kind of slightly more juicy kind of 10-minute version, and we're going to do a really stripped down version as well. So it depends what time you've got, but it's something that you can help reinforce the energy in between the sessions to help us move forward this. I'm doing some artworks for this as well. I've already
brilliant.
First piece of channeled geometry from Melchizedek, which is beautiful, and I'm looking forward to sharing. So we're so excited about this. It's going to be amazing.
We are. It begins on one of my favourite dates of the year in bulk, 1st of February.
Yeah,
the Celtic Spring. So once again, my brother in the light, we shall be bringing this through, and it's going to be exciting stuff. And I'm going to be travelling off to Finland this time next week. I'll be in Finland. So apparently it's -20 over there. It's a workshop in Helsinki.
You think you're cold now?
I think I'm cold now. I won't be sat outside recording next week, basically. If I do anything, it will be from the warmth and the comfort of my hotel room. But this will be the Nordic Ascension workshop. It is going to be Lavisa Alvtorn and I, hosted by Jenny Rantakahila, and Anna Indra Larsen will be there as well. And we're going to be there for the whole weekend. So if you haven't heard and seen this and you can make it, the details will also be underneath this. But the sign up for David and I's workshop will be there. It's like David said, it's a 3-part series. Now, there is going to be a little bit of a gap between each of the episodes, but that is partly to let each and every one of us actually integrate the kind of the magnitude of the work that's coming through. Like we say, Melchizedek is going to be guiding all of this, and it's going to be coming through. Exciting stuff. So we'd love to have you on board with us.
That's it. I will just say, Melchizedek set the price for this workshop. It is a bit more than Tim and I usually run them at. But there is an option when you go through to book, you can pay in 3 installments, either through Klarna or PayPal. So that option is there if that's helpful to you as well. Just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you for sorting that out, David.
Yeah.
Right. Well, on that note, I'm going to go in and I'm going to warm up. And get all toasty like David is. David's toasty, aren't you?
That's it. I'm a little bit chilly. I might put a cardigan on.
Oh, bless you.
I know.
Oh, well, it's been...
God bless you and your dedication, Tim.
I love being out here. It's this is my inspiration outside. It's had a lot of information come through particularly in this spot over the last 3 years or so. Although, won't be long, there'll be some leaves on the trees. But thank you for joining me this morning and bringing through your wisdom of what you're experiencing, David, because it's so grounded. It's what we're all going through. If David's experiencing it, if I'm experiencing it, you can absolutely guarantee this is a collective experience that's also going on in the field. We're there for each other. We're all here for each other at this time. No job too big, no job too small. That's what we're here to do, to collectively shift this planet from the third dimension, where it used to be, because it ain't there anymore, into the
We've
fifth
already done
dimension.
that.
Yeah.
Tick that one off the list.
Tick that one off the box. But like I say, joint operation, and begins with us.
We're all in this together. Yeah. Thank you so much for letting me be here, Tim. Always
bless you. Anytime. Anytime. Sending you all so much love, and we will see you soon. See you on the 1st of February.
Yeah, can't wait.
Bye.
See you soon. Lots of love.
Bye.